Hi everyone, this is Dee from Passion for Paper Beads on Etsy.com. Today we're going to be working with the new tutorial, which is working with fancy paper napkins and turning them into beads. And there'll also be other videos following this one that we'll deal with making the coiled pendants and making covered pendants and nugget beads. And I'll be showing you those in each different video that goes along with this tutorial, and I'll show you a few examples at the end of what they look like. This is the cover sheet for the tutorial that you purchased from my shop. And before we get started, a couple things that you're going to need. You're going to need some napkins, and fancy napkins with bright colors work nicely. I've got quite a few different ones here for you to see. So just bright colored napkins, whatever colors you like. Don't worry about the pattern so much. I would tend to look more at the colors of the napkins. So once you roll them all up, they look a whole lot different than the paper flat. So you'll need some napkins. You'll also need to get one of these mats or something similar. I got this at the dollar store. They come 2 to a pack and they're washable, and it just helps keep the glue from sticking to everything. So if you could pick up a set of these, you'll find that they're very helpful. I have one laid out here. The other thing that you'll need to make these beads is you'll need some thicker white paper. This is 67-pound vellum, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've already transferred my cutting lines from the template A1 onto the paper, because once you fuse the napkin you won't be able to run it through your printer, so you need to do that first. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take a napkin. Napkins, when you open them up, they usually have a white side to the back. Some napkins will have 2 layers called a 2-ply, and some napkins have 3 layers. So usually it tells you, if you're buying a whole pack of napkins, it'll usually tell you right on the napkin package, so you know how many you're trying to take apart. You'll need some glue, some liquid glue, scissors, and you definitely will need a full glue stick. The easiest way I found to separate the napkins, and I've already gone ahead and started this, is just to take the glue stick. Hopefully you can see this okay. You're going to take the glue stick and push it on the corner so it sticks, and then if you grab that very top layer and pull it back, it'll just pull apart. That's the easiest way to get the two apart. Some of your napkins will be really difficult to pull apart, and you'll just have to take it really slowly. But once you get it going, they come apart pretty cleanly. If you do get a little tear or a little hole, don't worry about it. It won't even show up when you make the beads. Go ahead and keep the white part. You can use that in one of the beads we're going to be doing later. Let's clear a little stuff out of the way here. Okay, so this is what we're going to be taking a look at. Stay there. Sometimes when you open your napkin up and you look at it, you might look at the edge of the napkins and say, oh, there's a flaw in the napkin, or there's not a lot of color, maybe not a lot going on, but maybe you look towards the middle of the napkin and you see that there's more patterning going on that you like. I like this part of it. So one nice thing when you're taking it down to just one layer is you can see through the napkin, so you can actually position that flower to be closer to the edge. You could also move it up more so you even have more of it showing, but you can see through it. So what you're going to be doing is we're going to be fusing this napkin to the underneath paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to use your glue stick. Don't worry about all the excess that's on the edge. We'll take care of that when we're done. I want you to take the edge. Can you see that okay in the camera? I'm going to be lifting this edge. Can you see that? My son's helping with the camera, so he might be backing it up there. Okay, so you're going to lift this up. You're going to take your glue stick and you're going to go about 1 inch in, and you're going to cover pretty well. You want to make sure you've got enough glue stick on there while you're holding this in place, because you've already decided where you want it to go. And then you're just going to smooth it down, pat it into place. You don't have to pull or rub. If you get little wrinkles and bumps, don't worry about it, because once you roll the beads, they will disappear. You won't even see them anymore. Then you're going to turn it around, and you're going to pull this back to where you already glued down, and you're going to do another couple inches Just make sure you get plenty of glue. I like to go up and down and back and forth like this just to make sure. And then bring your napkin over again. Just carefully lay it down and then just smooth it out. And just keep doing that till the entire sheet is going to be covered with a napkin. Okay, and then you go ahead and do it all the way to the end. Okay, so now we've got it all the way to the end, and ideally what you want to do at this point is you would want to let it completely dry, okay, so that the napkin's not tearing or pulling up away. If you're really impatient like I usually am, or in a hurry to get something done, you can use your electric drying tool, or you can just use a blow dryer on low heat and you can dry it and it'll dry up pretty fast. I don't want to do that because it's just going to make a whole bunch of noise that nobody wants to listen to. So we're going to pretend that it's dry, and then what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and trim the paper along the edge so you have just your bead sheet. And go ahead and save the paper because you'll be able to use it, if not for this project, another project that we'll be doing. So make sure you keep the colored paper, because believe it or not, there's enough leftover paper here to make a matching pendant to go with this, with one of the methods that I'll be showing you. So okay, so now what you have is you have your napkin fully fused to your bead sheet paper. You've got your cutting lines on the back. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. And like I said, this is template A1, and I like to use this one for doing different videos because it's just so versatile. So what I'm going to show you how to do is make one of the beads in the bracelet that I have finished, which is, if you've been following the different videos that I've made, this particular bead is located in the advanced shapes for the A1 tutorial. And if you don't have the A1 tutorial, then you wouldn't have this template. But you can pick up the A1 tutorial in my Etsy shop. And I will put a link at the end of this video in the, I think it's called See More section. Okay, so we've got our bead strips. This is the first one, second one, third one. I'm going to use the orange roller. You could use the red roller, you could use a bigger hole roller, whatever you want. For this particular project, you're going to want to keep your glue stick handy. I like to just set it like that. And also, this is just my filthy dirty bottle, but my Mod Podge, okay? Make sure it's coming out, it is. And then with these, if you're going to pre-curl, just do it really gently. Don't pull too much. The very last one at the end, I'm always telling you to cut the tip off at an angle so you have a nice finish. So we're going to pre-curl this. I'm trying to work down in this little space right here. Okay. The one thing that you want to be careful with when you're rolling the napkin beads is, like, the paper may lift away from the corner like it just did right there. Don't worry about it too much. It's the inner part of the bead. Just go ahead and slide it on there the best you can. And then just really pinch it and give it a turn. A couple of turns to get it going. And then I find with rolling these you don't use quite as much tension as you would if you were doing the remounting, say, with the 67-pound vellum mounted on the cardstock. You wouldn't want to do that. So you're just going to go ahead and roll it down. You just don't have to pull quite as much. In the process of doing this, if your napkin should tear, it hasn't done it so far, but it might. If your napkin should tear, don't worry about it. you can just use the Mod Podge, say a tour here, and you said, oh, and it's split. Just dab a little bit of glue on there and just keep going. It's in the inner part of the bead, it won't matter. If it happened on the face of the bead, then you have your extra napkins, you can go in and patch it. And if this one actually cracks on me, I'll show you how to go in and patch it. So I'm just adding my other strip in behind. I'm getting some glue on my fingers, that's okay. I usually keep a towel handy because you don't want to have too much glue here, because every time you touch down the napkin it may tend to lift it away from your base paper. So this is really all there is to fusing. It's not really difficult. Once you do it a couple of times, you'll have the hang of it. Like I was showing you with your paper, if the pattern that you like the most is in the middle of the napkin, then just cut the napkin down the middle and reverse it. Reverse the middle to the edge when you actually mount it onto the paper. Okay, so we're rolling around here. We're almost there. As far as base coating and dipping, absolutely the same procedure as in the video that I've already done on base coating and dipping the beads. You're going to want to base coat these at least 2 times, maybe 3. Definitely I would dip them 3 times. Because you fused a thinner paper on top of a firmer paper, you just want to give it as much support as you can before you glaze it. So I would go ahead personally and I would base coat it 3 times. So for base coating, there's our bead. Hopefully that's in the camera. You can see it okay. I'll turn it this way. Maybe you can see that better. And that's what it looks like. So when you go to base coat it, you're just going to put your Mod Podge on. And you're just going to go around. Make sure it stays on your stick. And that's why this mat's so great, because if it pops off on the table, it's really easy to clean up the mess you make. And let's face it, this can be kind of messy sometimes with all this glue. Okay, so there you have it. 1 base coated bead. And see, you can just wipe your mat off and you're good. Alright, so there's the bead. 1 base coat, 1 level of base coat. I would do that 3 times before you string them to dip them in the vibrance. So what did we make with these beads? Well, here's a set of beads that are finished. I'll let my son try and zoom in on that for you. Step out of the way. These were made completely using napkins, and then they had a little bit of gold nail polish embellishment done to it before they were base coated and glazed. And this one here is a finished bracelet. These were all made with napkins, and I think that napkin's up here. Anyway, these were all made with napkins and wire wrapped to be really beautiful. So that is the basics for fusing. Super easy, not difficult at all. So you know that. The next videos that'll be coming along that are part of this tutorial, you see there's some other things on the picture here. We've got the coiled pendants. We've also got the covered pendants, and then we've got some other beads. So let me show you some of these. This would be a covered base bead, where we're going to be learning to make a base bead with just white vellum, and then we're going to be covering it with sections of the napkin. So I'll show you how to do these. These are some of the napkin coiled pendants. These were all made using napkins. I can tell you right now that this one, this was actually made from this napkin. So if you can see that. That's the one it came from. Then there's this one, which I think this was from a Star Wars napkin, a birthday napkin. And this one, these are all done with napkins. The other thing that I'll be showing you is how to make a base coiled pendant, and then we're going to be covering it with the napkin so that it looks more like this. And we'll also be covering some more different shapes of base beads that'll be covered with napkins. So that's what we have today so far. That's fusing and showing you how to work with my templates and fusing the napkin to the actual printed template and then turning it into beads, so that when you finish rolling the rest, you'll have really nice, beautiful beads that are just very unusual. Thank you for watching.